Yeah, I gotcha. So yeah, that makes sense. For small business owners, what is an early sign of conflict that shouldn't be ignored? When is mediation the smarter move than just pushing through a conflict or just seeing if they can fix it themselves? Like, what should they be noticing?
So if you are starting to feel dysregulated, your nervous system is upregulating. And when I say upregulating, it means that you're feeling triggered, you're feeling super angry, you're feeling anxious. Any of these things that make you feel uncomfortable, you might at that point in time consider whether mediation might be helpful, because a mediator helps you stay calm and like think through the solutions when you're feeling in like upset, defensive, irritated, any of those things. You're actually not able to think through a solution as effectively as when you're feeling calm. So anytime you feel like that, you might think like, maybe I should hire a mediator because like I'm so upset about this thing that I can't even think straight.
Yeah, you can't even see it. Many women founders, they may try to keep the peace or avoid confrontation, and maybe that's not a gendered thing. Maybe we'll say many people, but sometimes women sometimes can be known to, try to ride under the line, right? You know, how do you help clients advocate for themselves without burning those relationships?
So I really try to figure out. So in the world of negotiation, there's something called interest-based negotiating versus position-based, and I believe people are trying to keep the peace, but they're stuck on position-based. And position means like I want what I want, and Rachel, you want what you want, and I'm trying to keep the peace. And so then in that particular instance, the only way for me to keep the peace is if we stick to positions, is that I just give in to your position, right? A super easy example is like you want to take a trip to Hawaii, I want to take a trip to Europe, and I don't want to fight about it. So then I just say, fine, we can just go where you want to go. There is another alternative. The other alternative is to ask a lot of questions to figure out where the common interests lie. Once you get to the common interest, you can maybe come up with a solution that's neither Hawaii nor Europe, but actually addresses what we both want. Therefore, we have a win-win destination.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. What types of clients or disputes do you most commonly work with? Are there patterns that you see across their instances? Are there disputes, or is everything unique?
There are patterns and there are unique details as well, right? So I do a lot of divorce mediations. I also do a lot of workplace conflict mediations. And I will tell you, most people, when they hear that I do divorce mediations, they're like, ooh, I wouldn't want to do those because that sounds really emotional and horrible, right? And I will tell you, like categorically, workplace conflict mediations are much more difficult. And I'll tell you why, because in a divorce, even if people have been fighting for years, whatever is going on, they have the same goal, which is usually we want to get a divorce, right? And so, yeah, you might argue about the money, you might argue about whatever, the house, but ultimately, both people want to get to the same end destination, which is we would be divorced. When you have conflict at work, as everybody who's in a job, I want you to imagine if you might be having an interpersonal communication issue, or just an interpersonal issue where you don't like someone, you don't trust someone, you feel like they're nefarious, whatever it is. And the common goal is not how can we work together. Usually you, Rachel, will be thinking in your mind, Alice should be fired. I really don't like her and I believe that she's competent. And my viewpoint might be, Rachel is so toxic, she should be fired. Then HR puts us together and say, hey, the two of you need to work it out, work things out, get to an agreement, get to an understanding, but we still don't have a similar goal in mind.